Hello everyone. I all hope you had a wonderful weekend. One here. I all hope you had a wonderful weekend that you all enjoyed, and I'm back for the next episode. In this episode, we'll be talking about the Hellfire family, a powerful family of four nation hunters who are part superhero and part villain. No, exactly. They came from a universe known as a Mixel universe. They exactly originated there from the Mixel universe, and the Mixel universe is at war with the Sacred Universe by and with the clans that are quietly at war with the Sacred Universe's clans, who are quietly led by Infinita, who leads the Eclipse clan in order to exactly take over and conquer the entire Sacred Universe against the Orion clan, which is led by Ron Orion, the most powerful leader of the Orion clan, who was quietly determined to save sacred existence before it's quietly ruled by the Eclipse clan, or rather enslaved by the Eclipse clan. Within the 30th century, the first descendant of the Hellfire family of the Fornishnanta family arrived in the sacred universe in order to join forces to battle against the Dragon Clan and all other clans that were quietly searching for magical powers and magical abilities during the magical war. The war between the other clans and the other kingdoms quietly waged, and the Hellfire descended joining in the battle in order to fight that war for peace and also for power. Within the battle of the war, the first Hellfire descendant was quietly burnt by a dragon, literally burnt by a dragon. His injuries was very much quietly severe, as in he was quietly burnt by a living, fiery breathing dragon. Burnt him as in burning him. Burned the first Hellfire for Nation Hunter Knight, as in burning him. He was quietly, completely covered in fire, and it took time for his healing abilities and his Nation Hunter healing abilities to kick in. After the battle and after the war quietly depleted and the war was quietly over on the other two sides, in the battle for power, the battle for magical power and ability for magical power was quietly completely over and quietly ascending. The size of the two battlefronts of the war ended terribly. No one exactly recovered from the war, but either way, the size from the two battle was exactly on even odds, and the clans and all the other magical kingdoms were forced to exactly retreat and take a different turn, since the war quietly ended very badly and very, very disruptively badly, causing two sides to exactly be on even grounds, even at the worst time of the war. This exactly forced they were forced to exactly retreat, and were forced to exactly reevaluate the entire situation of exactly battling each other on the next battlefield if the war exactly came to that in cost, in order to exactly for peace and for power and for magical powers and abilities. The leaders of the great kingdoms and the leaders of the great clans were forced to exactly reevaluate the situation, and were exactly forced to make exactly a peaceful matter, taking a different strategic matter in order to exactly reach an agreement for peace and also for power in a different turn. During at that time, the first Hellfire descendant was quietly taken into the recovery room in order to exactly to be healing with his injuries. He was quietly screaming. His injuries of fire were quietly burning him. The dragon fire entered his body through his organs, affecting everything else within his entire radius. He felt the injuries, and he felt the stain of the fire entering his organs and then throughout his systems and throughout his lungs and throughout his heart, throughout his entire kidneys, affecting everything within his entire organ system, including his own body, including his entire body from out and inside of his body. He was quietly scarred very badly and very quietly badly injured. It took almost 4 years for him to exactly heal. His healing regenerative powers began kicking in slowly and slowly and slowly and slowly and slowly. His recovery managed to recover. His recovery was a miracle, as all the nurses and scientists were able to accept, all the secret scientists and all the secret fairies and all the secret witches and the Jews were quietly surprised and quietly shocked at his recovery rate, seeing his body able to recover so quickly and able to exactly regenerate so quickly. They quietly sustain that the fire of the dragon that managed to exactly burn him is a fire, is a fire, is a fire that quietly kept him alive within his organs and within his body system, which exactly kicked in within his regenerative healing properties and his regenerative healing properties and his regenerative healing properties of his bodies, and also of his foundation DNA. In doing so, it granted the first Hellfire descendant with the ability with the ability of controlling hellfire, and with the ability of having hellfire abilities of fire abilities and fire abilities, and able to controlling fire and manipulating fire at any ability in any turn. He used this ability in order to exactly gain the advantage against the dragons and against any other opponent who quietly opposes him in real return. In doing so, he uses these abilities to exactly win the war and also to launch a battle against all the other clans and all the other magic kingdoms. The battle with the other clans and all the other magic kingdoms was a successful war. All the other clans and all the other magic kingdoms were very able to succeed in seizing control of power and control of magic and control of peace in every turn. All the other clans and all the other magical clans were quietly making a peace, and they all seized control of power, forcing to expand their kingdoms and their entire clans and all the entire cities and all the entire magical clans. The first Hellfire descendant Formation Hunter was very pleased and very quietly happy that his powers and all his abilities were able to evolve and were able to adapt in a short space of time, in a very quickly short space of time in doing so exactly. Over the following centuries, the Hellfire Formation Hunters became members of the Alliance and joined forces with the Alliance of the other Formation Hunter family, joining forces with them in order to exactly restore peace and restore balance to the entire sacred universe and to the entire sacred world. In doing so, within the following centuries, they were able to exactly fight evil monsters and evil beings and evil creatures and evil dark druids and evil dark magic users who are wreaking havoc on a larger scale, creating chaos and destruction upon humanity and upon the entire known universe, upon the entire known universe and upon the entire sacred universe and upon sacred space itself exactly. They were able to exactly restore peace and balance by fighting off all these forces of evil and by fighting off evil villains known as Golden Knight, Ghostmaster, Windmaster, Metal Face, Lady Shadow, Dark Light, Shadow Fox, Notin Knight, Notin King, Shadow Master, Power Master, all these other villains who were quietly intending on wreaking chaos and seizing control of the entire sacred world and of the entire sacred universe and through humanity, through chaos and through manipulation by any means necessary. The Alliance exactly fulfilled its job and fulfilled its destiny by exactly restoring peace to the entire sacred universe by fighting all these villains and by taking them out, all of them, and by taking out all of their operations one after the other. Within the 14th century, Valak Hellfire started beginning an operation in order to creating a new force, implementing a new force of Four-Nation Hunters in order for them to exactly restore peace in a different way, in a very different method, for them to seize control of the sacred world and of the entire sacred world by removing all supernaturals and by wiping them out. Valak Hellfire was obsessed in exactly seizing control of power. He worked with the Little Magic. He partnered up with the Little Magic within the 14th century, exactly helping him complete his goal and his mission with Zack and his Darkest by his side. Together, they exactly partnered up with the Little Magic, becoming the Little Magic students, and they decided it's time that they wipe out the supernaturals, aliens, and all living creatures that pose a threat to the natural order and to the natural balance of the entire sacred universe and also of the entire sacred world. Valak 5 began the Shadow Strike. The Shadow Strike, a group of evil Four-Nation Hunters who are determined to wipe out supernaturals and supernatural creatures and also alien creatures. He began in order to seize control of power and numerous powers in order to exactly wiping out these creatures who pose a threat to the natural order. In doing so, Valak 5 grew stronger and more powerful than any other Four-Nation Hunter. He was exactly opposed by his former colleagues of Universal Man, Universal Woman, Ferris, Unity, and also Starwood, and also Darken, and also Growler, who exactly opposed him in his goal in order to wipe out the supernaturals. The battle was quite conclusive as they stopped the Shadow Strike from seizing power throughout the sacred world and throughout the sacred universe, from decimating all the supernaturals and on the rest of the alien species. They exactly stopped it Valak Hellfire from exactly ascending to power, and Zack and his Darkest and the rest of the Growler family who joined forces with him and conspired with him from exactly ascending to power and stopping the Shadow Strike before it could exactly decimate the entire supernatural community, and the rest of the alien clans and the alien worlds before they were quietly decimated due to the intervention of the other members of the former members of the Shadow Strike, known as Crystal Ferris, Greg Greg Unity, and Halle Ferris and Jake Growler, and also Sammy Starwood and Mickey Starwood and Peter Growler. They were able to exactly stop Zack and the Stalkers and Velek Hellfire from exactly seizing control of the entire Sacred Universe and of the entire Sacred World, which was exactly a two-way street of a success, which it worked. Within the alien century, the newborn heroes were quietly born into the sacred universe. Grayson, Ferris, Unity, Ivy Ferris, Hellfire, Hank Starwood, Sam Starwood, Charlie Starwood, Vargel Smith were quietly born into the war, and some of them were quietly kept hidden. Some of them were quietly raised inside the human world. Others were quietly born. After they discovered that the Shadow Strike and the Little Magic were posing a threat to humanity, they were forced to take action, and they were forced to eliminate the threats. Ivy Ferris Hellfire was forced to kill her own father before he completed his plan in annihilating all the supernaturals and all the aliens across sacred existence, which was exactly doubting a swiftly blow, and which exactly by killing him stopped the Shadow Strike from killing all the supernatural, from exterminating all the supernaturals and all the aliens who are quietly living in harmony with the rest of the sacred beings, with the rest of the sacred beings of the sacred universe and of the sacred creatures of the sacred universe. By doing so, exactly making Ivy Ferris Hellfire the last descendant of the Hellfire family, the most stronger and formidable Formation Hunter of the Hellfire family. While the Universal Heroes brought the demise of the Little Magic, which created a power vacuum unlike any other, consuming Shadow Empire commanders and Shadow Empire warlords to take a faction, to take sections of the known universe, to taking control of the known universe's faction and sacred sectors and star systems of the known universe, breaking an online war, creating an all-out war, creating an all-out sacred war against the Intergalactic Coalition and the Universal Heroes and the United Heroes. In doing so, exactly after the demise of the Little Magic and Valak Hellfire and Zacchaeus Darkus and Peter Growler, some of the Growler descendants and some of the members of the Hellfire family were quietly forced to return to the Mixel universe, and were forced to exactly do so. The Sacred Universe was quietly forced to exactly make peace with the Mixel universe by any means necessary due to the work of the Universal Heroes and the Intergalactic Coalition, who were forced to exactly change sides of the war, and the peace was able to exactly come about at the very, very difficult cost, at a very huge cost, which it exactly did exactly by any peace. The Mixel universe and the Eclipse clan, led by Infinita Eclipse, was forced to exactly sign a powerful truce with the Sacred Universe in order not to launch an attack or invasion against the Sacred Universe with Ron Orion, who is the leader of the Orion clan, was exactly forced to exactly sign a truce with the Eclipse clan in order to exactly vow to never attack the Sacred Universe or the Mixel universe ever again by any means necessary. In doing so, the truce was formed. The Sacred Universe and the Mixel Universe were quietly at peace with each other. Both universes can coexist together, meaning leaving other universes of the Star Universe, the Golden Universe, the Robotics Universe, leaving 3 universes left in order to exactly join forces with the Sacred Universe, who are still at war with the Sacred Universe and with the rest of the Universal Heroes and with the rest of the Intergalactic Coalition. Despite this, the Hellfire family is a formidable family of Formation Hunters, the strongest and most powerful one. They had the descendants known as the Fire Children and the Fire Brothers, who left the Fire Children for a powerful reason, who come from a fire dimension. The Fire Brothers are a group of supervillains who want to conquer and rule the entire sacred world and the rest of sacred existence by any means necessary. They are ruthless. They are a powerful group of fiery villains who will do whatever it takes to arise and ascend to power. They hate and oppose the Universal Heroes' ideals and the rest of the Intergalactic Coalition's ideals and the rest of the Alliance ideals in order to exactly rule mankind with an iron fist, no matter what. They are the baddest villains ever known, ever existed throughout sacred history. They are the worst. The Fire Empire, which is ruled by them, they'll do whatever it takes to conquer and rule the other worlds and other planets, forcing the Universal Heroes and the Alliance and the Four Nation Hunters in order to frequently clash with them and by fighting with them by any means necessary. The Fire Children, on the other hand, are a different topic. They are the most kick-ass, badass super villains ever known and ever existed. They have the ability of controlling hellfire, the ability of using fire and manipulating fire and controlling energies of fire, creating shadow fire, summoning fires, having the ability of summoning fire, the ability of conjuring fire, the ability of conjuring fire energy, the ability of conjuring shadow fire ability, and the ability of turning fire dragon heat into fire magic, and using fire magic in order to exactly opening portals and dimensions to other fire dimensions and other fire dimensions and under fire dimensions and other fire universes. Despite this, the Hellfire family of Phoenician Hunter are very formidable and are very greatly stronger. The fire ability was passed down through each descendant, except that Valak Hellfire, the Phoenician Hunter supervillain, didn't unlock the fire ability, not like Ivy Ferris Hellfire, who unlocked the ability of controlling Hellfire abilities in order to exactly use their fire abilities in order to wipe out and exterminate, wiping out and removing evil forces and evil beings who pose a threat to humanity by any means necessary. Ivy Ferris Hellfire decided to use the Hellfire ability and its powers for the greater good, not for the greater evil, in order to seize control of worlds and planets, rather to help the Alliance and the Intergalactic Coalition to liberating all those worlds and all those planets who are still under the control of the Shadow Empire, the Fire Brothers, the Fire Children, and also the Sacred Society of Supervillains known as the Founders, the Sacred Circle, the Order of the Five, the Order of the Six, the Order of the Seven, and the Order of the Seven, and also the Order of the Seven, and also the other secret societies of supervillains known as the Golden Masters, and any other villains who pose a threat to the rest of humanity and to the rest of sacred existence. Despite this, the Hellfire family is a family of Four Nation Hunters who are formidable, strong, adaptable with long gravity, with super healing, regenerative healing, and fire ability, able to bend and manipulate fire at any given ability, able to manipulate it, use it, and control it, and diverge its power into a force of a weapon and into a force of a magical ability. Despite this, the Hellfire Formation Hunter family is strong and very adaptable and very, very, very skilled in hand-to-hand combat, in swordsmanship, daggers, blades, sticks, any weapon you can think of. They are very quietly good and very quietly handy with those weapons and with those blades. The Hellfire family is a very strong family of Four Nation Hunters who come from the Mixel universe. They belong from the Mixel universe. They remained in the sacred universe because they wanted to, they chose to, because they believed it was their destiny to join forces with the Four Nation Hunters and assist them in the wars that were quietly waged against their kind and against their species and against their races and against all races of supernatural beings, werewolves, vampires, fairies, fairy witches, and aliens, and any other alien clans, and any other superhuman clans, and any other fiery clans, and any other different superhuman clans, and magical creatures and supernatural beings, and any other beings, and any other civilizations of aliens and civilizations and any other worlds and planets. Despite this, the Hellfire family is given a powerful ability of controlling the strongest, most formidable element, which is Hellfire itself and fire itself, thanks to the dragon by burning the long lost descendant ancestor of the Hellfire by turning his ability and passing that ability on to each descendant and to the lost living descendant known as Ivy Ferris Hellfire, who has the ability of unlocking the Hellfire secret family and unlocking its ability and using it for the greater good, not for the greater evil. In fighting evil forces known as the Dark Druids, the Dark Witches, the Water Children, the Water Faithful, and the Water Druids, and the Ice Druids, and any threat, and even the Dark Witch Snow, the Dark Witch Nebula, Jakebringer, Lord Jack, Lord Shadow Jack, Winter King, Lord Havoc, any threat and any supervillain who pose a threat to the entire known universe and to the rest of sacred existence and to the rest of sacred universe and to the rest of sacred world's history by any means. Our heroes are determined enough to stop these forces of evil before their plans can reach into fruition. Well, I all hope you enjoyed the video, and I all hope you have a beautiful day and a very great day. And I all hope you stay positive and stay very safe and very, very quietly safe. And I all hope everyone will have a wonderful day. Well, it's lovely chatting with you all. Enjoy this episode and watch it. Bye.